Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to this talk. I'm talking today to Callie Cline, who is a business person extraordinaire in Second Life. She's been a model, she's been a designer, she's made clothes, she's most famous as one of the people behind Kitty Cats, I think, these days, although she was pretty famous in early Second Life as well for being one of the only avatar to appear on, what was it, Callie?
Maxim's Hot 100.
Maxim's Hot 100.
Beating out Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Moment of triumph there.
Claim to fame. Just kidding.
But most famous now for kitty cats, although you started, didn't you, designing animal homes with Barnsworth Anubis.
As far as, in the pet realm, that is how I got into that, was making cute chicken houses for the Scion chickens. Because I thought they were so ugly that they needed a cute little house to kind of cover them up.
Definitely.
They were made out of stucco. They had the stucco bump map. We could never figure out why, but hey, yes. They were a lot of fun.
Yes, although they were very, apparently very killable back in those early days.
Yes, they, if they went off world, or if you didn't put them in a box and took them into your inventory, if you did anything, they would die to never be brought back to life again. So many a tear was shed over those chickens.
I think that's very sad.
It was. One time I had 800 go off world in one day.
800?
Mm-hmm. Due to a scripting error, and I was sobbing on the phone with Linden Labs as I saw one after another go off.
Oh no!
It was really sad.
I get upset if I lose even a single kitty cat, which happens very rarely now that I don't let them wander over the whole parcel.
Yeah, and we get them back for you, so.
You do, instantly. Well, very swiftly. It always works. So, do you tell me about the early days? When did you first come in and how did you get your start?
Oh gosh, I came in, my res day is coming up. So my original person came in, I believe, a month before, or a couple weeks before my Callie person. So who knows? It could be my real birthday today. So send presents. No, I'm just teasing. So I had a girl, Lane Burley was her name, and somehow I lost her, so I had to make a new avatar. And so then I got Callie. And I was invited by some people that were playing in SL who had begged me to come in. And I just thought it looked like the most boring thing in the world. And they kept saying, oh, it's so wonderful. And so I came in one day and crashed and bumped into walls and did all that newbie stuff. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't think it was anything great. I just thought, how can these people be in this really ugly cartoon world? Because back then it was not very visually appealing. And so what happened? I know what happened. I kept coming to visit my friends that I knew from this other online community that the founder of eBay actually had. And he was an early investor in Second Life. So they kept posting pictures, and I kept coming back and just was really bored. And then one day I ran into this guy that was building a library. His name was Wandering Yaffle. And he was from England, and he was building a virtual representation of his online website, which I thought was really fascinating. And so I started to talk to him, and anyhow, to make a long story short, I would talk to him almost every day, and I think I was bothering him because he was trying to build, and I would ask him, like, what are you doing? And, so he sent me on a mission to take photos. And he said, if you take photos, I'll put in the library. So I'm sorry, I'm just de-rendering someone right now there. Anyhow, so I kind of got started as a photographer. That's what my first job was. And my second job was a decorator. And my third job was making T-shirts because my SL sister was convincing me to be a clothing designer, which I didn't want to do because when I saw the template, it looked like a math graph, and math scares me. So I was like, oh my gosh, no way, I can't do that. And I remember one thing, though, that she said. She kept saying, don't you understand we're pioneers in a new world? And she kept saying that. She was really into gaming. And she kept saying, we can be whatever we want to be and we can do whatever we want to do. Don't you understand that? And I'm all, And so she would tell me that, like, and every time we would talk. And then I thought, well, if I can be anything, I don't want to be a virtual seamstress. So if I'm going to make clothes, I would like to focus on branding Callie in a bigger way than a seamstress. So that's why I kind of just wanted to do everything I could in Second Life.
Right. So you actually set up a very successful clothing line with other people, working with other people.
Well, when I launched my own brand, it was just myself. But my sister, SL sister, and I had our stores next to each other. So we both launched at the same time. So that was fun. I miss designing clothing a little bit.
I miss your boots. For the first few years I was in Second Life, I adored your boots and barely, wore them all the time because they were just so cool.
Yeah, now those boots actually were made by someone else who I had found in a little shop, and she didn't have any interest in getting them anywhere. And so we talked about, and I said, well, what if we kind of redesigned them and then I sold them under my brand and split the money with you? Would you like that? And she goes, oh, I would love that. Because she had no desire to do anything but make like that pair of boots. And they were really cool boots. So, yeah.
Yeah, they were great. But I've got some of your dresses as well. Back from the day. Yeah.
Way old stuff. Yeah.
So you've moved through and you've done a number of things, and finally you came into the pet business, first of all with your Pampered Pets company. And then you moved on to kitty cats and making your own cats. Now, I always knew I could resist breedables. I could resist the chickens. Oh, God, could I resist those chickens? I could even resist the bunnies, but I knew that once someone started making cats, I would be lost. And you started making cats.
But don't blame me, because we were the fourth cat, actually. There was 3 cats in Second Life before we launched. 3 breedable cats. When we started, there were none, but during development, 3 other people had launched until we came. We were late to the party.
You were late to the party, but I think you're the biggest now, aren't you, by a considerable margin?
At the moment, 2 of the cats are not in business anymore. And I think the very first one, I am not sure, they're called Crazy Kitties. I think those may still be around, but I'm not sure. Those are the ones that actually, let's see, how do I say this in a PG way? They humped like dogs. They really did.
Right.
It was very weird. We're like, wow, that's imaginative. It was a big selling point. Watch your cats hump.
Right. As opposed to just batting their eyelashes at each other and then discreetly producing a little box. Yeah.
Yes, our cats flirt and then say sweet things to each other, and then a box appears.
Yeah.
No mess, nothing. Just a cute little box with a little kitten inside waiting to be released. Oh, boy.
And one of your innovations that I love is now you can see what the kitten is going to look like before and work out which gender it is.
Yeah, we, after very much request for people that would get a box and not know what it was till they birthed it, we were able to finally launch something that we had in the works for a while that we couldn't tell people, but so they can click it and see a picture of what's inside.
Yeah. And that's extremely helpful, she says, as someone who once opened 5 straight male boxes before hitting a
know.
female.
I know. Oh well, that was a long time ago, so.
It was, and now they're great. Well, they were always great, but they're gendered great now.
Yeah, I really enjoy. What I love about Second Life is we're celebrating its 11th year. Is the possibilities to do so many things, and I had never done anything like be involved in making a prim cat, or even I never even textured in 3D till kitty cats. So that was a whole nother learning thing. And when Equinox and I talked about making cats, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do it. Thinking, those grids you throw on a sculpt. I thought I'll just throw one of those on and figure out where to put the fur, and did not work that way. Put the grid on and went, oh no, I can't do this. This won't work. So I had to learn a way, and Second Life provides us many opportunities to try new things, I think.
It does indeed. And one of the things I want to ask you about is what you think the new Second Life will offer. But before we get on to that, let's talk a little bit about the community, because I think one of the strengths of what you've done with Kitty Cats is actually building up a really strong community. Was that always important to you?
Absolutely. When my clothing was my main business, my group was called Cowgal, and it was all about the community. I loved my customers. I loved hanging out with them. We were just like a family. I did a lot of things to like Friendship Week or Freebie GB Week, where the community would give gifts to each other, or just because to me, that's what got me into Second Life, was meeting somebody and then meeting their friends. Other than that, it was just, I don't know, it wasn't enough for me artistically to capture my attention. I couldn't build, so that didn't capture my attention, but the relationship part did. So in the business, in my clothing thing, that was really important. And when we decided to do kitty cats, Equinox and my other partner also have a business, a land business, where the community is also really important to them, and they have events for their community, and it's Fruit Islands, and they do so much for their community too. So I think the three of us coming together, we love the community aspect. So it was just a part of our our core values was to really to have a community, because I don't know, it's just important to us. That's the most important thing, more than customers. My personal take on everything I do in Second Life is that I'm one part of a community, and my role is what it happens to be now is making furs, and but I'm not any better than another part of the community who may be someone that has dances or teaches classes or breeds. Like, we're all in one community, and we all have different roles. So that's just what works for me, So I'm really grateful for that part.
It's a very friendly community. I mean, there have been some quite vicious fights going on in some communities that I'm not going to name, but there's also been a lot of interfighting as well. And you've steered very clear of that in the kitty cats community, haven't you?
You know, we have the most fighting that happens with the kitty cats is in our team with each other. That, you know, sometimes, of course, like I'm sure any company, we get on each other's nerves and we have fights or arguments. But let's see, what was I?
You've stuck together. I mean, there are the three of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been in this business for quite a while together, haven't you? That's
3.5 years. And what's so neat about it is we're three strangers. We hadn't ever met in real life, and we got to do a business together, and you know, and just have so much fun. And as far as like the drama things, I know some other companies have had their internal fighting and stuff, but we if we have a problem with a customer or anything like that, we always try to take it privately. We're not a company that publicly, you know, chastises, or even in our group chat, if somebody, you know, breaks one of our guidelines, we don't say, don't do that. We ask people, please IM them privately. Because for the most part, I think people make mistakes, and it's when one person says, oh, you're not allowed to, you know, sell, then everyone else follows suit. So you have one person making a mistake and 50 people going, you're not allowed to do that. So I think our approach has always been take it privately, see if you can work it out that way, and we've been able to. So I'm really thankful for that.
Yes, that is good. You've raised an interesting point, though, about creating businesses with people who you may never meet, who, you know, maybe you don't even know their gender, their real gender. Maybe you just always, you know, type to them, and yet you set up businesses with them. It's a very extraordinary way of working in some ways, isn't it? Because it's very heavily dependent on trust.
It is. And for me, it was really difficult because to start in this business, because most of our communication was text. And then my partners and I have different first languages. Mine is English, and one of ours is Swiss, and one is Dutch. So we have three people with all different you know, languages, that's their first language, speaking to each other in text. And I used to get my feelings hurt every day. Like, oh my gosh, that was so mean, because I heard through my own filter what an answer was, you know, and I just was like, yeah, I thought, gosh, they're not very friendly. And once we talked more on voice, I didn't even hear our scripter's voice for months, maybe 8 months. Once I heard his voice, I'm like, oh, that's what he sounds like when he says, I don't really like this. He doesn't sound like, I don't like this. He sounds like, well, I don't really like this. You know, he sounds so nice.
Yeah.
So I had my whole story running of, you know, things like that, which... Yeah, some Dutch are friendly. He is friendly, but my mom was from Italy, and she told me that when she came to America that she would just translate from Italian to English, and it would be like, that dress is ugly, instead of, oh, that dress doesn't really look so nice on you. You know, and so her friends would go, you're rude. And she's like, gosh, I wasn't being rude. I'm saying it doesn't look good on them, and something else would look better.
Yeah.
You know, so
no,
I
that
think
dress is ugly. You need to change that.
yeah, exactly. So I think that there's definitely been some challenges, and I'm glad for them, because it really forced me as a person just to look at some of my own, what would we call them, stories that I make up about what I think I'm hearing. And had this not happened, I would have never been able to do that.
That's very interesting. But I think it is fascinating the way that people are kind of coming into partnerships and setting up businesses and creating business in a way that just doesn't happen in the real world. And I wonder if you think Second Life is ahead of the curve there.
It must be in some ways, because when I tell people about this, they look at me like, are you kidding me? You've never met? Wait a minute. You've never met this person. Have you seen them? I'm like, well, I saw a picture of them. It's them. I don't really know it's them. Wait, so you've never even did Skype with a picture? No. Why not? I'm like, they're like, you could be in business with a man. I'm like, oh, well, maybe I am, but then, or them saying, it's not real. It's not a real business. And then I'll be like, well, I put real money in the bank, so that's real. So something about it's real, and I work a lot of hours. That's real. So yeah, it's pretty weird.
And we're paying taxes on it, and
I definitely pay taxes, and
yeah, we do all the real business things, but we just never meet our business partners.
No, I hope to. It would be fun.
Oh, if you come over, you'll have to make a stop off in Oxford in England.
I would love to do that. Would love to do the SL Friends tour. Go meet everybody that you've known. Well, not everybody. Meet all the people that you... everyone that you like a little bit more than normal. Hi, I defriended you 5 years ago, but I'm going to meet you. So I can tell you in person that you were a real jerk. No, I'm just kidding.
I think you'd have to have a kitty cats convention in London and summon them all to you.
Oh, that would be so much fun. I would love to meet all our customers.
I think that they would love to meet you too, so it could be enormous fun to do.
And then if they all brought their cats, I would die since I'm allergic to cats.
I'm sorry. I never knew that.
Yes.
You have made a huge, huge business from marketing kitty cats, and you are allergic to cats?
Yes. But I had them my whole entire life till I was 14, and my cat died, and then we found out I was allergic to cats. My mom just thought I had normal allergies. And then when the cat died, about 2 months later, when all, I guess the dander or whatever was finally all out of the house, all my allergies went away. And so we figured out when I went to my aunt's and petted her cat and started sneezing, that it was cats that had caused this my entire life.
Oh, dear.
So, see, my parents were horrible parents. Just kidding.
They'd have been horrible parents if they'd said, oh, well, never mind, here's 2 more kittens.
Yes.
Okay, so I was going to ask you what you think about the new announcement that has kind of shuffled out about the next generation of Second Life.
You mean the one that there's going to be a Second Life version 2?
That's right.
Somewhere in the near future?
Or the
future.
Yes, as some people are calling it, Second Life, the next generation.
Yeah. What do I think about it?
What do you think would need to happen to make it a success? Do you think people are going to be reluctant to move over? Do you think the knowledge that the new Second Life is coming is going to affect the Second Life community here?
My first thoughts initially were fearful. I thought, oh no, what if we can't move the cats? What if? And then about 3 minutes into that, I went, whoa, wait a minute. This could be years away.
Yes.
I remember hearing about Viewer 2 for 2 years? Mesh for 3 years. So, and this is a whole virtual world that maybe is going to be in beta next year. I personally don't see how that's possible. So I'm not worried about it And I'm just, my feelings about it, let's see. Oh, gosh, or my thoughts about it. Saffia, I don't know. That's my honest answer. I have so many different thoughts from, I wonder why Linden Labs would announce something in the way they did when asked questions about it, only said, it'll be better. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That, I don't understand that as a business practice, because that would be like us saying, oh, we're going to make new cats. And then people saying, what are they going to be? I don't know, but they'll be better. Are they going to do this? I don't know, but they'll be better. Like, I don't know why the CEO did that. I think part of me thinks, is it because of, I'm being really candid, is it possibly because of Philip Linden's, or Philip Rosdale's New World coming out and the buzz about that? Is it like that maybe Second Life had to say, oh, but we're doing something too? We just don't know these things.
No.
So my thoughts are, if it could be done better, and if they could make it to where users were excited to move, like be able to take their inventories and things that are important to them, then I welcome something that would be better, that would, make things like teleporting work all the time, or, things that, yes. And if that's, I don't see a resistance to that. And if we as a company, as far as kitty cats, of course, we'll keep our ear to the ground and our eyes open to see how we can, migrate. But we just don't know if it's going to happen. We just really don't know. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, we've had a lot of customers worry, and I just tell them, let's just enjoy now, because, like, honestly, when we were making our cats, somebody was in mesh, and they were in the beta testing of mesh, and they said, Callie, wait on your cats, because mesh is going to be out in 2 months. You're going to put all this time into them, and then mesh is going to come out and they're going to be useless. So you really should wait. And this was from a really credible source. And we decided, you know what, if that happens, we'll just see. It was 2 years later till it came out. So if we, because of fear, had waited, we would have never come out. So that's why I just think that I'm just not worried. We'll just see what happens.
Oh, someone's just made a really good point. Suki Galicia has said, even if we can't bring our existing kitty cats, I can imagine kitty cats using the ID system to create versions in SL2 or whatever it'll be. Yes, because you do quite a lot of your work offline with databases and so forth, don't you?
Yeah, we have, even now, as Shuki would know, we have our online cattery where people can send their in-world cats, completely manage them entirely online on our website, and never, ever even bring them back into Second Life if they didn't want. So I'm not a scripter, but I'm guessing that because we have that already working, I'm pretty sure our team would be able to find a solution. And we're the kind of team that is really up for challenges. And what a lot of people don't know is, all through the history of our company, our scripter is always looking at what Second Life is doing, what they're changing to code, and always making changes so that the cats keep working. Things that people don't know, like behind the scenes. So unless we need an update for them. So I can't see us like being like, oh no, it's too hard.
Yes, I could see that really working. If you wanted, you could upload your Second Life cats into the cattery and then download them in the New World, or vice versa. If you decided you were bored with the New World, you could take them back through the cattery to Second Life.
Yeah.
That would.
And this is like, I just want to say, for whoever's here, I'm not speaking officially for kitty cats in any way. I'm just speculating as Callie, because I really don't think there's enough concrete evidence. So please don't go say, Callie said that we'll be able to move our cats, because I do not have the expertise. We don't even know where it would be moving to, you know?
Yeah,
And
it doesn't
I
exist.
no.
Yes.
And I think about like Blue Mars, and there's been a lot of virtual
Cloud
worlds.
Party.
Yes, Cloud Party, that were the next big thing that was going to kill Second Life, and they didn't happen.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's that easy.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
I've been thinking quite a bit about what is actually going to make the successful next version. And I think it's much more complicated than having the technology that works.
Absolutely. You know, I think, Saffia, that something that I hope Linden Labs will, this is my opinion, so for what it's worth, how do I put it? When I joined Second Life, you would always see Lindens around. You know, you run into them just shopping, and they had such a presence. And then they kind of disappeared. And I think the greatest asset of Second Life was the community, and it was like this organic thing that sort of grew. And I think no matter what the technology is, I don't think that if they don't recognize that and get back in world and see really what this product is, I can't see how it can be successful. I really don't, because it's not just a new feature. There's so much more at the heart of Second Life, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, there's just some weird thing, like, I don't know. And I hope that they would pay attention to that.
I hope so too. And we'll see how it works out over the coming weeks, I think. And months, and even very possibly years too.
Yeah. Well, because the CEO said beta may be next year. And I read a lot of a forum where they asked them questions, and almost every answer was, I don't know, we don't know yet. And they were just on really small details that it would be almost like asking us, will your cat have 4 legs? And we'd say, I don't know. So if they don't even know those little things, I'm just really not that worried for right now.
Yes.
I'm not saying it in a negative way. I just don't know.
Yeah. We don't even know whether it's going to be, you know, absolutely wonderful new graphics, or this new product is going to be aimed at tablets and things and have something simpler.
Yeah. And if it is, then it may attract a different demographic, like people that play Farmville and want to just click and see their crop grow and then log off and earn a prize or something. But it may not attract the people that have seemed to stick with SL through thick and thin, that, you know, like challenges of rezzing their hair and clothes and
and picking earrings out of your backside, which was always my least favorite task.
Yeah. And also they said something about they're aiming it towards content creators, which is, if that's true, that's a little weird as well, because for the most part, a bunch of content creators don't buy each other's content because they're too busy working. Like, I rarely get out to shop. So I don't know how that would make it profitable if it's just geared to content creation.
Oh, but
I don't know. You know, we just don't know.
You're always so beautifully dressed.
Me?
Yes.
Oh.
So you must get out and shop sometimes. Either that or you have a really good eye for the marketplace.
Well, I have friends that send me stuff free. That's one. But also, last year I made a little personal promise to myself to get out, take my own advice that I was giving the Lindens a minute ago, and get out and put myself back in the community, because I really felt I had lost touch. And 100% of my time was spent up in a skybox alone. So I thought, I need to go back out and have fun and remember why I came into Second Life. So I make time for shopping and recreation.
And doing crazy things.
Recently, and that was a lot of fun.
Did you enjoy it? Yeah.
I loved it, because I used to do that when I first joined Second Life, and it's improved a lot. Like, I was doing tricks and everything. And it was really hard to wipe out, which was really fun to not wipe it out. So
I like being a mer.
Is that mermaid?
I like going on mer trips under the water.
I haven't done that yet.
Yes, go to Alice. I'll give you a link to Flotsam. There's this really amazing. It was on last week's Designing World show. It's just incredible.
I would love to see that because when I first joined Second Life, I'll tell a little silly story.
Go on.
Do people remember how when people were away, their heads would bow down?
Away. Yes.
Remember that when you're away and you'd see these people that said away and their head was down? Well, I used to think that when you logged off, that's what happened to you. So I used to think, oh my God, when this grows, there's going to be zombies everywhere. And so I thought when I logged off, wherever I was standing there with my head down. So it kind of freaked me out a little.
Yeah.
So I would go under the water to log off. And then I decided to become a mermaid. Like, I didn't get a tail, but I just pretended I was a mermaid because I used to do that when I was a kid. So then I would just be underwater and I said I was a mermaid.
Right.
And I remember thinking, what are they going to do when there's like thousands of people that they want? Everywhere's going to be these zombies. So, yeah.
Well, it certainly would have lost the it certainly would have lost the reputation for being a place where there were no people. It would just be there were dead people standing around.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, time for a couple of quick funny stories, and then we should give people a chance to ask you some questions. I'm just going to drop the most amazing location on you. I'm going to drop the free town of Flotsam, which was created Ali, who used to be Arcadia, who did the hobo stuff, and she's doing all sorts of pirates and mermaid stuff now. You've really got to go and see her town.
I will, for sure.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much. I will do that. I got a new bathing suit today, I think, so I'll have to wear that when I go.
Yeah, and do make sure you feed the Kraken.
Okay. So what we're...
Okay. Right, so go on.
No, you said something. I don't know what. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, you said earlier that you had a really embarrassing story. The most embarrassing thing you've ever done in Second Life.
Yeah, but when I said that, I thought of about 10 more. Oh, okay. I will say the most embarrassing. It had to be the most embarrassing. At the first Miss Virtual World pageant.
Yes.
Does everyone know what Miss Virtual World is? Where, people try to be the queen of the virtual world. I was asked to be a judge. Okay, so there were, 7 or 8 of us. Mm-hmm. And I had known of the people, but, I'm so sorry for Guana. Oh, I feel bad. Mm. I feel bad for her. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I was a judge for that, and so were some other people that were kind of notable that I'd never really met, but I knew of them. Like they were SL famous, and so during the pageant, the girls would walk up, and the judges stood right at the end, and I would do this.
What?
That. Callie Cline applauds.
Right.
And so I would just keep hitting Command V to do that so that I didn't have to type it every single time.
Right.
So this guy was flirting with me from the judging panel. And I didn't know him, and it was very forward, let's say.
Yes.
And so I was like, are you really saying these things? because it was just weird. And this is the middle of like trying to listen. And so it wasn't anything like X-rated, but it was just like seemed funny. And so I thought, I'm going to keep a copy of this chat because I have to show my friend. And I don't think I knew about chat logging or whatever. I am logging. But I was like, I've got to show her this because this is going to be funny. And so I copied it all and I was opening a note card to put it in, and a girl had just came up and said something. I thought, I got to say applause. So I went into open chat and went Command V, and all the chat of him flirting with me filled the entire auditorium.
No.
And I was like, oh, no, that didn't just happen. And so my friend writes me and goes, what the hell was that? She was in the audience. And then he writes me and goes, what the hell was that? And I told him, I said, honestly, I was copying it into a note card to show my friend because I couldn't believe that. And he laughed. He had a really good sense of humor about it. And there was nothing, like X-rated, but it was so embarrassing. And the Saffia, I remember at the first Breedable Awards, or the first awards, we were supposed to give you a copy of our speech, and I was going to paste it to Equinox to read it to see if she approved it. And I put it in open chat saying, we are so thankful we won this award.
And it was about an hour before the award was made.
And we didn't win. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
But, yeah, so those are probably my two most embarrassing moments.
I think mine was a very classic one of I used to log out. My first home was a pretty little castle. I always thought big, which had a sunken bath in it, which was really beautiful. And last thing at night, I used to just kind of take all my clothes off and jump into the sunken bath and log out there. And it was lovely until the day I came in and my region was down and I got diverted to an info centre.
Oh my goodness.
And was standing there naked in the middle of all these crowds of people saying, what's going on? Who's she? Why is she not wearing any clothes?
Oh, wow. That's funny.
Okay, we're coming to the top of the hour now, but I was going to ask, does anyone have any questions for Callie before we go? Can you script the Megapus so that we can pet?
Okay, for those that don't know what a Megapus is, let's before I answer that question, that is one of our cats that you can ride. So they're like almost a horse. It's big enough like to be ridden. So that's what a Megapus is. So now with that understanding, I will answer that question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the new things you're working on for kitty cats? And
well, we can't tell about that. They know that.
Can't tell.
We can't tell the new things. And this is why, just so you guys know, the reason we can't tell is things change so much that if I were to say, oh, guess what the new things are? Well, there's this and this and this, and then they don't end up working out, then even if you say you won't tell, that's not true because people tell in Second Life when they say they won't. So then everyone's like, guess what I heard? And then we don't do it, and then we have a bunch of people mad going, but I heard Callie say that we were going to get to have flying trick-doing megapusses that made us breakfast in real life. And I hate you now. So,
yeah,
that's why we don't tell. Plus, it's so much more fun when we just announce it and people were like, oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. So, how do we get the 900 centimeter cats? are those the big giant, huge ones? Like, I don't know how big 900 centimeters is. Okay. You can get really big ones if you, sea monster size. I think if you do kitty cats of the month, you can get one size that big. Or if not that big, I know it's really big. On the website, look under kitty cats of the month and see the size. Oh, it's 200 centimeters? Okay. 300. Okay, so for those would be something really rare because we did those for charity. That was for RFL.
Charity
so
auction.
maybe for this next RFL Breedable Fair coming up, that's something I can jot down as something people would like to see. When we first started, we made a few of those for an event, and then the community had an event, so we gave some away as prizes. That's why you see a few of those out there. But you know what? Who said that? Who made that suggestion? Collaborate? Will you drop me a note card to remind me of that? Because I don't have a pen near me and I'll forget. And I would like to have that jotted down to remember, if you would do that. Thank you so much.
I adore my giant cat. I was very lucky to get one, and I just adore her.
You did. That's right. You had Miss Queen Saffia.
Queen Saffia, yeah. And she's actually making a guest appearance at your birthday ball.
Yes, I saw her there. She looks so cute. By the way, for those that don't know, we have a free Second Life birthday kitty. If there's some people here that don't know about that, and it is available here at the event, at the free gift areas, and at our exhibit here, it's also available. And on, let's see, SL11B on the website, there is a URL of where you can find it. Here, if you scroll down, they blogged about it today, and there's a place to find it. Will the birthday kitties have a special? No, they don't.
And there was there's the question earlier which said, was that Jack Charlesworth was asking, any chance of making Maine Coons larger and furrier as they are in real life?
Let's see. I saw that. Larger and furrier. Do you mean larger like the prim larger, or like that every Maine Coon would be born in like a bigger to big size? What do you mean by that? Okay. With that, Jack, because of the way the breeding is done, and we kind of loosely use real life things like Siamese and different things, and cats pretty much have the same anatomy for the most part, but yeah, I don't think we could make like Maine Coons all be really big. That just, we're not set up for that right now. As far as different types, shapes, yeah, they are gorgeous. They're really gorgeous. Yeah, well, actually, for Siamese, there's two versions. There's the very skinny ones, and then there's ones that more look like ours. And the skinny ones were actually bred to be that way. The original Siamese, some research, were more the fat ones, which I did not know until I was doing research about how to do the furs. I always assumed the skinnier ones were the original Siamese, but they really weren't, which was really news to me. But they became a little bit more popular to some people. So, and as far as different, let's see, different face shapes, body shapes, prim-wise, thank you. The challenge with that is because our cats are so interactive, and the way that the prims move, and to be able to do all the different animations, if you change different shapes, it throws all of that out, and that's really highly complex to get the cats like to jump in your arms and be pet by all different size avatars. So it is something that we have and we want to do. It's just when we started Kitty Cats, we didn't foresee like all the things we wanted to do. We saw them, but we didn't see how they would all work together, if that makes sense. But I will note that as well. Because I would love that as well, actually. I'm not making a promise, but it will be noted. Is there any? Were there any? I think there was another question I missed. Let's see.
Yes, someone asked if you can reduce the cost of making cats permapets. She's got 16 cats.
You know, that is something that's come up a lot, and at this time I don't have an answer. And I hate to say that, but I will tell you the reason we made Permapet. We were the first quote unquote breedable to introduce that. And the reason we did it is because we approached our cats more as a pet that could breed rather than a breedable. And we knew they would be highly interactive and all these things. And the reason we did a permapet product is because we wanted people that didn't want to breed to be able to get a cat and be able to have an option to buy something that could turn it into a pet like that. Like other SL pets you can buy by different brands. And so our price was set to be competitive to what, you know, another pet cat. There's a popular one that costs like $2,600. So we set our price to where we figured if someone went and paid $500 or $200 or $100 for a cat, and they could pay $1,800 for a permapet potion or $1,500, they would actually be paying less than if they went and bought another cat, and then that cat would be guaranteed for life with all the features, all the updates, everything, that we would completely service it for the life of the product. So that's why. And what ended up happening is people loved their cats so much, they wanted to preserve them in a state of keeping them forever. And really quick, if you have a cat and you turn it to the pet setting and have it eat pet food, it will eat half the amount. And so that would take you over 18 months to even pay for one permapet. So if it was me, I would just feed him pet food, because honestly, and with maybe new Second Life coming, who knows, you know? I mean, I'm just being real honest. I don't think people realize that sometimes, that it's pretty cheap to feed them as pets.
That's what I do. They don't drink milk. They just eat half the food. I've got about half a dozen cats that are, well, I've got a mega push that is friends with Queen Saffia, so I kept him, and he just eats his half dose each day.
Oh, okay.
It's quite funny when Edward or Queen Saffia are asleep and the other is awake, they'll sit by their couches and stare at them, waiting for them to wake up there.
Aww.
And then there's some meerkats on my rockery, and they will also spend hours sitting and staring at the meerkats. It's really cute.
That's cute.
There are weasels running around, but they completely ignore the weasels. They just go and sit and stare at the meerkats. I don't know why AI does this.
You know, I don't understand either, because I've asked our scripter a few times, are you sure you didn't program this certain breed to do something? But he swears that it's all random. So anyhow, I hope everybody will get their free kitty if they haven't, and I'm really happy to have been here today.
I'm really happy to have had you. It's been great to talk to you. It's always great to talk to you, Callie. And
you too.
It's been fun to have these questions.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
If anyone has any other questions, once this ends, you're free to IM me if you want. Oh, Susie, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for enjoying them. It means more than